Spurs midfielder James Maddison is set to miss at least 4 games for Spurs as he is now out injured for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Reports are stating that Spurs are interested in Brighton's Evan Ferguson. All of the Europa League details as the draw takes place on Friday. Min-huk is about to join Queen's Park Rangers on loan until the end of the season, according to reports in South Korea. And Tim Sherwood has come out and said recruitment at Tottenham is a glaring problem, and at the moment, Ange Postecoglou needs help. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's start with some injury news. Various reports have just been published stating that Tottenham Hotspur midfielder James Maddison will now be out of action for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Now, players out injured: Vicario, Romero, Spence, Udogie, Van de Ven, Basuma, Maddison, Timo Werner, Solanke, Johnson and Odegaard. So it means that Tottenham Hotspur midfielder James Maddison will miss at least 4 games. Elfsborg on Thursday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the Europa League. The Premier League game away at Brentford on Sunday. Then the Carabao Cup second leg in the semi-final away at Anfield against Liverpool next Thursday. And the Aston Villa FA Cup game Sunday week. Now for a fixture update for the Tottenham Hotspur Under-18s and the FA Youth Cup. The club have confirmed that the Under-18s will visit Watford in the 5th round of the FA Youth Cup on Thursday, the 13th of Feb. The match will be held at Vicarage Road with a kick-off time 7 p.m. Now, the Tottenham Hotspur women will be in action on Wednesday evening, back in FA Cup action, I might add, with a trip to Everton in the 4th round of the Women's FA Cup. The game will be live on Spurs Play from 7 p.m. Robert Villaham's side will travel to Walton Hall Park on Wednesday evening to face the Toffees after our original date for the 4th round tie was postponed due to a frozen pitch earlier this month. Next up, let's talk about Tottenham Hotspur and the Europa League and the Europa League draw that takes place on Friday. Here are all of the details. Thursday night's 3-2 win against Hoffenheim saw us book a place in at least the knockout playoff round of this year's UEFA Europa League. Still with 1 game to play, Thursday's visit of Elfsborg at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. In the new look league phase of the competition, we are now certain of advancing in the competition, having secured enough points to avoid a place in the bottom 8. Yet while 2 possible avenues remain in terms of what our progression means, what route we take remains in our hands. If we can secure victory against Elfsborg this week on Thursday, we will book a place in the competition's top 8, and that would automatically qualify us for March's round of 16. However, anything but victory against the Swedish side would leave the prospect of us finishing outside the top 8 and as low as 15th, which would see us take one of the 16 spots in the February knockout playoffs. So this is how it will work. Europa League knockout playoffs. If we finish between 8th and 24th in the league phase, we will secure a place in the Europa League knockout playoff. On the day after our match with Elfsborg on Friday, the 31st of January, a draw will take place to decide who we will take on in the playoffs. The Europa League this year will operate via a bracket system like in major international tournaments. This will see every team's route to the final mapped out from the round of 16 draw. Clubs who finish between 8th and 16th in the league phase will be termed the seeded teams in the draw, while those between 16th and 24th will be unseeded. Clubs will then be paired based on their league rankings, i.e. the league who finished in 9th and 10th spots will be paired, as will 11th and 13th, 14th and 15th, and so on until the final pair of 23rd and 24th. There will then be 8 bowls at the draw, each bowl containing a pair of teams. The paired seeded teams, 23rd and 24th, etc., will be drawn first, with the first team of the pair allocated to a spot on side A of the bracket and the remaining team in the pair drawn to side B. The seeded teams will then be drawn with the highest ranking teams, 9th and 10th, drawn to face the lowest ranking teams, 23rd and 24th. The teams who finished 11th and 12th will then be drawn to face the teams ranked at 21st and 22nd, and so on until all of the teams have been drawn and the playoff round draw is complete. The matches will be 2-leg clashes, with the first leg taking place on the 13th of Feb and the second leg taking place on the 20th of Feb. The seeded teams, the teams who finished 9th to 16th in the league phase, will be the home side for the second leg. The victories of each tie will earn a place in March's round of 16. Now for all of the details for the round of 16 in the Europa League. If we finish in the top 8 places in the league phase, we will not be involved in the playoff round draw on Friday and will instead advance directly to March's round of 16. If we finish in those top 8 places, we will learn our opponents for the round of 16 and for the rest of the competition in a draw on Friday, the 21st of Feb. In the draw in February, we would be paired alongside another of the top-ranking teams. The team that finishes first in the league phase will be paired with the team that finishes second, while the team that finishes third will be paired with the team that finishes fourth, and so on. In this draw, there will be 4 bowls, and each holding a pair of the top-ranked sides, with each pair split when drawn. The first team drawn taking a slot on side A, and the second drawn taking a spot on side B of the bracket. Again, the ranking will be seeded, with the teams ranked first and second in the league phase drawn against the winners of the knockout playoff ties between the sides that finished in 15th, 16th, 17th and 18th. The teams ranked third and fourth in the league phase will then be drawn against the winners of the knockout playoff ties between the sides that finished 13th, 14th, 19th and 20th. The teams that ranked 5th and 6th in the league phase will then be drawn against the winners of the knockout playoff ties between the sides which finished in 11th, 12th, 21st and 22nd. The teams ranked 7th and 8th in the league phase will then be drawn against the winners of the knockout playoff ties between the sides which finished in 9th, 10th, 23rd and 24th. So here is the key information for all of us Tottenham Hotspur fans. It means if we finish in the top 8 on Thursday night on the 30th of Jan, we will not know our exact opponents for the round of 16, but can assured that it will be one of 4 teams. The quarter-final matches will also be 2-leg clashes, with the first leg taking place on Thursday the 6th of March and the second leg on the 13th of March. The seeded team, 1st to 8th, will be the home side for the second leg, and the victors of the ties will earn a place in April's quarterfinals. Now, TalkSport have just reported on Tottenham Hotspur target Evan Ferguson of Brighton. They are stating that Brighton striker Ferguson is subject of loan interest from Bayer Leverkusen, Marseille and a host of European clubs. The Seagulls have also rejected an offer for a permanent transfer from a fellow Premier League club, but would reluctantly sell if they get an offer matching their evaluation. They have also stated West Ham United, Tottenham, Arsenal, Bournemouth and Everton are among the Premier League clubs to have inquired about Ferguson. Now, reports have just been published from South Korea, and they are stating that Tottenham Hotspur are willing to let Min-huk go out on loan from now until the rest of the season. And the reports in South Korea are stating that Spurs are about to let Min-huk join Championship side Queen's Park Rangers. Former Tottenham Hotspur captain and manager Tim Sherwood has criticised Tottenham's recruitment in recent years. He has stated the glaring problem for me is the recruitment, and it has been for many, many years. Talking to Opta Sport, he said it is not the shortage of money that is being spent, it is where the money is being spent. Tottenham had the third highest net spend in the summer. All the time they spent money. You can't continue spending money. It's what you're buying. It's not about what you're spending. It is about what you spend it on. It is not good enough. The recruitment is so bad. I think it is an easy recruitment job to work with Ange Postecoglou because you know exactly how he wants his team to play. Now give him some help. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode, and let me just talk about the past week or so because things have been very, very busy. I've not really had time to do these longer updates, so apologies about that. Now, this past week or so, the Everton defeat, wow, 3-0 down at half-time. That was not good enough, in my opinion, that performance. Of course, it was a much better second half. Then, of course, we went to Hoffenheim. A really good win, in my opinion. I know some people weren't very happy with the performance, but, you know, I think that away in Europe, it is about getting the result. And I took all of the positives that night on Thursday against Hoffenheim, you know, just to get the 3 points, come away with the 3 points. I thought it was really, really important. And when you look at that Europa League table, Spurs need to be finishing in that top 8, especially, you know, if we don't, it means another couple of games. And at the moment, with all of these injuries that I'll come on to in a second, it means more games, and we certainly don't want that at the moment. Even with players coming back, it seems like players do come back, and then we have more players out missing with more injuries. It is just unbelievable at the moment. But of course, all of the Europa League details have been included on this episode, so I hope you understood them. I know it's quite long-winded, but there are all of the details. I'm sure it'll be a lot clearer on Friday when all of the graphics get put up by UEFA, etc. Then let's talk about the Leicester defeat. My God, that was hard to take. That was. You know, defeat at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against a team that had lost 7 out of their last 7 going into this game. I hate the term Spursy. I hate the term Dr. Tottenham. It's just unbelievable. I couldn't really talk about Tottenham too much actually the next day because I feel like we're all the same. It's hard sometimes to talk about these types of games and defeats. We've seen it all before. A lot of criticism aimed at the board, especially Daniel Levy on Sunday. I've never heard it so critical inside the stadium, you know, throughout a 90-minute game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I've gone to every single home match in every single competition since the stadium opened in April 2019. And I've never heard that level of criticism. And of course, Daniel Levy stood there listening to it all, watching everything unfold. Of course, the banners went up as well, time for change, etc. And I can't believe that we're 27 days in. And yes, we've signed Tony Kinski, you know, very good, capable goalkeeper. But Ange Postecoglou needs help, and that will bring me on nicely to talk about Tim Sherwood's comments. You know, recruitment is a glaring problem. I've said this on this channel many, many times. I felt that recruitment hasn't been good enough. However, since Ange Postecoglou has come in the door, I felt that recruitment has been quicker, and I felt like it has been better. You know, certainly aiming for future and, you know, with great potential signings. But I've also said as well, you know, trying to put a lot of balance on this. You know, I'm all one for the future, but of course you've got to think about the now as well. And in the summer, I said it throughout the whole of the summer, some of the viewers, some of the listeners, you know, called me negative. And I don't see myself as a negative Spurs fan at all. I feel like I try to be very realistic about things. When you saw the amount of injuries and off-field issues as well that Ange Postecoglou had in his first season, I always felt a couple of injuries to key players in Ange's second season, it could really derail us, you know, like we were derailed after the Chelsea game, after being unbeaten, you know, in those opening 10 games. So I still feel, even if every single player come back tomorrow and Ange has got a fully fit squad, there is still room for improvement. There are still players that need to be put into this squad. Is our bench good enough when every single player is back? No, it depends. I suppose you could ask the question, what are the aims? What are the ambitions of the football club for this season? It certainly isn't winning the Premier League. I felt like a lot of people in the summer and towards the end of last season, although the results, weren't what we wanted them to be, I always felt that Ange Postecoglou spoke and talked a good game. And I even felt like players like Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero, I remember them two coming out a lot saying, there's a lot to be excited about next season. And I thought, wow, if the players are talking like this and the manager's talking like this, they obviously know something that we don't. So we are going, big guns in the summer transfer window. That summer transfer window is going to be a magnificent one. We're going to be signing statement players, statement signings, experienced players, etc., etc. Dominic Solanke, I think, has been a great signing. I think we have been extremely unlucky with injuries, particularly with someone like him. But when you get someone who works so hard, of course, Richarlison's been out injured for most of the season. He's now back. But James Maddison now out for a couple of weeks. It's just unreal. It just seems like a week just does not go by without us not having an injury to a key player. And he is going to be missing some key games. Of course, Thursday's game, is a must-win for us. We've got to be finishing in that top 8. But these next few games as well, very, very difficult. Brentford away on Sunday in the Premier League. We need points and fast. We really, really do. Our league record at the moment is absolutely abysmal. Abysmal. It is not good enough. Regardless of injuries, any other issues, Ange really needs to find a way to win and get points on the board and quick in the Premier League, because his job could really be, it could be a real issue for him in the next couple of weeks or so. The cup games are very, very important as well. Of course, I think a lot of people are pinning their hopes on Spurs going far or perhaps winning a trophy this season. That Liverpool game is going to be extremely tough next Thursday at Anfield. I know we have a 1-0 lead going into it, but it's still going to be very, very tough. We need a draw or a win to go through to the final. And then, of course, a couple of days later, away at Villa Park in the FA Cup. Spurs, of course, haven't won an FA Cup since 1991. An unbelievable stat in my eyes. I can't believe the amount of years that have gone by without Spurs winning an FA Cup when we won it for a record 8th time in 1991. Spurs need players in and fast. Ange Postecoglou, if you're going to back this guy and you believe in him, we need players in and fast. We're 27 or is it 28 days now? 28 days into the transfer window, and we haven't signed any outfield players. We need players in and quick. The transfer deadline is the 3rd of Feb, 11 p.m. I just hope that Johan Langer, Scott Munn, Daniel Levy, etc., give Ange Postecoglou the tools. If they still believe in him, I might add. That's going to be an interesting one. How does this pan out? What if we lose against Brentford on Sunday? What if the results don't go our way next week? Does Ange Postecoglou still carry on his job? That's the big question. The amount of managers that we have gone through in recent years, I say pretty much on every video, every radio interview, every TV interview I do about Tottenham, 7 managers since and including Mauricio Pochettino in 2019, now going up to Ange Postecoglou. I thought it would be different. I thought it'd be slightly different under Ange. When you hit that major reset button, it should have been different. It should be different. It should feel different. And at the moment, there is a lot of criticism at Daniel Levy for not delivering enough for managers. There is criticism aimed at Ange Postecoglou with the way that he plays and us keep losing games. There's criticism on players. And what really saddens me is there is so much arguing and rowing among the fan base at the moment when someone doesn't agree. I run this Spurs YouTube channel, and I said the other day, it's meant to be fun. And, I'm here to just give my opinions. You don't need to listen to my opinions. People could take my opinions with a pinch of salt and say, so what? What does he know? I know more than him, blah, blah, blah. I'm just a fan. You're a fan listening to this. No one's right. No one's wrong. It's just our opinions. But we all want the same thing. We all want Tottenham Hotspur to be successful. We all want our football club to win matches every week. And we all want to see our team lifting trophies. But in my opinion, the board need to deliver a lot more. Ange Postecoglou, I feel like there are improvements to be made with him and his in-game management. And I feel like sometimes some of the players need to step up a little bit more as well. I don't think any fan can ever be criticised as well for supporting their club. I've seen a lot of fans say, oh, boycott the stadium, do this, don't go to the stadium, don't buy merchandise, don't this, don't that. What people want to do is completely up to them. People won't buy a season ticket and then, because they're told by their mate or someone they know, I know, what will upset Tottenham Hotspur. Oh, don't go and sit in your seat and don't go and watch the match. I'm never going to do that. I'll always be there for my club. I'll always be there supporting my football club. I'm never going to tell people what to do or what not to do, but that's me. I will always be there supporting my football club, win, lose or draw, whatever competition it is, whatever league we're in, whenever we're playing, wherever we're playing, I will always be there. Whether people want to criticise that or not, that's up to you, but that's me, and I'm not going to change in that regard. I'm looking forward to the Europa League draw. I hope that Spurs do go very far in the competition this year. I know people have even booked flights. They're that confident that Spurs can go all the way. I do like the fact that it will be mapped out, so we will know what teams we can face and what teams we can't face on the route to the final. But of course, we need to win on Thursday to automatically guarantee that we are in that top 8. So looking forward to Thursday's game. And I do actually think that we're going to get that job done as well. Min-huk, that's an interesting one. Is he going to go out on loan to Queen's Park Rangers until the end of the season? I think it's pretty evident that he's not going to get much game time, if at all, this season under Ange Postecoglou. So is it best for him to go out on loan to get some experience? I'm not so sure. That'd be an interesting one to see what happens there. But I do feel that Ange Postecoglou does need enforcements, and we'd need signings in as soon as possible. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do the follow button and leave a review if you can. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, come on you Spurs.